Alright everyone, we start off today with fairly major news actually, and it's tying in at the moment algorithmically on multiple sites with Andrew Tate, which is semi-related, and with various commentators who are technically astroturfing the story into greater importance. Oddly enough, many of them not mentioning this particular facet of it. That's probably a mistake. Link in the description, archived of course. Let's get into this bizarre nexus, this newly formed rabbit hole. Only more like a miniature black hole, actually. JPmorgan is being sued by the U.S. Virgin Islands Attorney General for knowingly helping to cover up Epstein's crimes. Of course, Epstein, who didn't kill himself. No reasonable person actually believes that fucking story as far as they can throw it. Ghislaine Maxwell, his compatriot, who trafficked minors to absolutely no one. She's serving long time in a federal prison, a nice cushy low security one by the way. You will notice how convenient that is. There are no Johns. She pimped a lot of kids out, but we don't know exactly who they were pimped to. That's because if you look at the list of people that the kids were pimped to, or likely pimped to, the Epstein flight logs come to mind, you'd be implicating most of the U.S. banking, multiple world and local leaders, and a huge chunk of the rich and famous and celebs. So you would effectively be coring out a giant hole out of the richest segment of society, possibly collapsing the economy at the same time, just to be clear about the monumental damage you would do. I have a feeling that's part of the reason that they're never going to release the client list, or maybe 50 years from now when nobody cares and half of those people are dead. So JPmorgan's getting sued. They violated red flag laws with regards to transactions, refusing to investigate when they knew that the primary income of that island, it wasn't business related. It was just, hey, Epstein, he's depositing $10 million again here from another billionaire who just visited the island. He won't clarify exactly what it's for, but we're not going to look into it because he's bringing in so much money. And this is how, again, the law works, and apparently banking law is no exception to that. The law is like a spider's web. The wasps go free, the flies get caught. When you're worth billions of dollars and you're pumping in regularly 7- and 8-figure sums into your bank account, coming and going in both directions for a million bizarre deals, the bank will tend to look the other way because they can't afford to lose your business. That's what happened here. This is tying in, as I said, with Epstein at large as a subject pertinent to Ghislaine Maxwell's client list. Don Jr. and a few others have actually put this out there. The idea that, well, there's two separate stories. One is, well, Andrew Tate got nailed by the Romanian authorities the other day. We'll get into that in a moment. They're willing to do something there, but they won't do anything about Epstein or the client list. And the other one, of course, is that the FBI never wants to look into the client list either, but has time to police memes. That was from Donald Trump Jr., of course. I concur, by the way, with both sentiments. It is rather bizarre, their priorities. Oh my god, a frog cartoon was posted on Twitter? We better act immediately. But those 14-year-olds over there that are scantily clad in one of Epstein's bedroom drawer videos, it's not a priority for us. It's perfectly fine. And the other thing is the Andrew Tate nexus. Of course, people are complaining, number one, hey, look, the Romanian authorities are arresting him after he did his Greta thing. He posted a video in which he was at like a restaurant there in Romania, and I guess one of the authorities recognized it, and it's pertinent to a human trafficking investigation. I have a feeling this is kind of like swatting or something like that. I don't think that he's going to end up serving hard time for enslaving people. I find that that's a bit of a stretch. You don't have to like Andrew Tate or his personality to think that's fairly unlikely. It sounds more like a hit piece. It did come 24 hours after he picked a fight with Greta Thunberg, and so people are like, oh shit, she had Klaus Schwab really pull the lever on that one now, didn't she? To be clear, I don't think that's actually the case, but it's a funny meme anyway. Don't you dare criticize the climate activist. You will suffer severely. Of course, it takes more than 24 hours to launch a human trafficking investigation, so I think that was probably something set up some time ago. Again, probably as a swatting. JPmorgan getting sued. This is the latest significant revelation in the Epstein case. Of course, they already won a lawsuit against the estate, It's funny that there was anything left in the estate considering Epstein's lifestyle for $100 million and a share of the proceeds for the sale of Little St. James. So they're going to sell the island off probably for like $500 million or some crazy shit like that, and then the island gets some of that money repatriated back to it as a form of reparations for the humiliation and the massive crime that was going on. Now they're suing the bank that was involved, will probably win the case. I mean, we're probably talking about billions of dollars, billions with a B, multiple billions over the course of time that were swindled up by Epstein and by others that are probably subject to territorial taxation of one kind or another. I can't imagine that it won't result in a 9-figure verdict. I think they'll win. To be clear, the territorial government of the U.S. Virgin Islands, a U.S. territory, is the only legal entity at this time doing anything about this. The Republicans barely talk about it. The Democrats definitely don't want to talk about it, considering the list was a little bit politically lopsided. Some people have noticed that. The federal government, therefore, is not doing anything. The FBI is too busy looking at mean tweets and shit like that. The CIA is too busy helping run coke and guns to cartels and stuff. So, I mean, a territorial government with limited resources is going to sue JPmorgan here over this particular topic. I would love it if pertinent to their case they said, well, we'd also like to sue other people, so we're going to need access to that client list. They wouldn't get it. It's been sealed, and it'll probably stay sealed because it's not in the public's interest to know who all of the degenerates are that were harming children here, but that we refuse to go after for any legal purpose because they've got too much fucking money and power. And, oh yeah, by the way, some of them run bureaus or are members of the government, and the rest of them are all friends with people who are in the government. It's a mystery as to why they won't actually prosecute any of these people or tell you who they are. You'd see some familiar household names on that list, by the way. Again, just because someone flew to the island doesn't mean they did anything illegal. But since that was one of the main reasons that the island goddamn existed in the first place, it's an island, you got plenty of security, plenty of privacy, you got weird shit all over the island, it's presumptive that the flight logs, to and from Rape Island probably line up with the client list, at least to an extent. There might be some mutual exclusivity. Someone didn't fly in, but they were still there. They took a ferry or whatever. Somebody went there, but they were literally just there for a business meeting and then left. They didn't get the illicit massage. That's possible. When you look at the people on there, aren't a lot of those people on the client list also implicated with other scandals of a similar nature? People claiming that they raped them, that they were with them when they were underage, then sexual assault and weird shit. It seems to be about half the people on the list. I think that might be the half that overlaps, by the way, with potential legal proceedings that the public is, of course, not allowed to see because it's against our interest. It's not in the public's interest to know who's diddling. That's about all. Peace out.